Our next speaker is Beatrice Foray. She's going to talk about top cutting or capping data.
Hi. Today I would like to talk to you about the subject of outliers and how to deal with them in the estimation process. For the last 10 years, I've been working on a few deposits that present a positively skewed distribution, and for which the presence of outliers needs to be handled. I'm talking gold and uranium mainly, in my case. In 2015, I have come across an interesting geostatistical model called the Top Cut model, developed in Paris School of Mines. And since then, I have tried it on 2 gold deposits and 2 uranium deposits. And this is what I'd like to share with you today. And I'd like to know if you think it's an interesting approach too. So you all know what an outlier is. It's used to describe the extreme high-grade values, since many grade distributions are positively skewed. Some distributions have low-grade outliers, but this is less common. And these grades deviate from a general tendency of the other grade, spatially and statistically. These grades, they exist on a sample support. They can be encountered and measured, but not on a block support. And when we do a resource estimate, we do this change of support, and we cannot take them as they are and do the spatial average. Outliers management in estimation process has a lot of consequence, especially for precious metal deposits, less in uranium. Overestimation can be problematic during the production phase, and underestimation can sometimes kill a project. So the most common procedure is to define a capping grade and to run an ordinary grading on this truncated grade. The problem with that is that it can be seen as subjective, the choice of the capping grade. There are a few other solutions. For example, co-kriging of multiple indicators. The problem with that is that it can be heavy, and we need a multivariate model to be fitted, because we cannot simply take the single variogram of every indicators because they are correlated. So sometimes it's difficult or even impossible to fit a multivariate model. We can try to interpolate differently different categories of grades, giving grade-dependent ellipsoids, giving, for example, for a low-grade category, a wide ellipsoid, and restrict the neighborhood for high grades. It's the practical equivalent of the Top Cut model, and the focus of this presentation is a geostatistical way of modeling the grades. So, as I said before, the outliers are statistically isolated. It can be seen on an histogram. When the distribution stops being normal, we have the heavy tail, and usually the way to decide what the capping grade would be to look at a cumulative probability plot and see when the slope changes from deviates from a log distribution. They are spatially isolated. So this is on the left. This is a log, and we can see that on this part, the structure of the grade is diffusive. So the grade is really continuous, and here it tends to be more pepitic. It's a mosaic structure. So these two types of population, the low-grade category and the very high nuggety grades, have a different spatial structure, and this can be defined by the border effect. If you, for example, you split your deposit, your distribution into 3 categories, low, medium, and high. In the case of diffusive structure, to go from the low grade to the high grade, you will need to go through the medium grades. In the case of a mosaic structure, you can go from low to high without having to go through. So it's more erratic and less predictable. It can be seen easily on if you display indicators of your grade. For example, here, the blue are, say, for example, the indicator of the grade 5, and the red are 20 or 30. And you can see that there is special continuity for the blue grades, and it follows the mineral structures and the metallogeny, the mineralization controls, and the red grades are discontinuous in space. So one of the problems we have when we have high outliers, and when the COV is higher, the more positively skewed the distribution is, the more problematic it is. When we look at the diagram of the row grade, just here, the high grades highly perturbate the diagram, and it's not legible. It's very hard to model. It's because at very short distance, there is a big difference in variance for some points, and it's it's really hard to interpret. If we truncate progressively the grade, we can see that the diagram starts being readable. And if you push it to the extreme, you'll have here the structure of the low grade values. So what we do usually when we cap is that we decide of a capping grade. In the best case scenario, the capped grade is not only decided on a cumulative plot, but also reconciliated with production. But it's not always the case, because it's not always possible. And so we take the grade, we cap it, and then we run an ordinary kriging on it. The problem with that is the excess of metal is lost. The top cut model, it splits the grade into 3 parts. So it keeps the truncated variable. Then, where the grade exceeds a certain cutoff, called the top cut grade, it only keeps the information of an indicator. And then it adds a residual. So the indicator is multiplied by the mean of the excess of the grade above this grade ZE, and the residual is calculated so that it has a mean of 0. So in this model, which is close to the CAP model, the truncated grade is krigged, and the only information retained from the high grade is the geometry, so where my high grade has the probability to be, and the mean of all the excess grades. So it doesn't take the value for as it is, but it only takes this information, the geometry, because the value is not important when you have an outlier. It's really more where the probability of where it is located, and so the average mean of the excess. In this mathematical model, the simple krigging of the residual with a mean of 0 is 0. So in the end, the estimation is done with the co-krigging of the truncated variable and the indicator. So the improvement of a straight krigging of truncated grade is the addition of the mean excess grade in probability of its of presence. So the question is how to determine this top cut grade. It's usually a lot lower than the capping grade. We can do it at first by looking at the deposit in 3D, in plans, look at indicators and try to see where, when, from which grade the spatial continuity stops. We can approach it also on the histogram. It's basically when the normal distribution stops to be normal. In this case, around 5. And if we take the slide we had before on the variography, if we go from in this way, instead of this way, it's when the variogram stops to be legible. And to define it more precisely, we can use the border effect. We need to see when the grades stop being continuous and diffusive, and when they start to be more erratic, the distribution. And we can see that calculating indicator variogram ratios. So this ratio, we set a lot of increasing indicators, and then we calculate those ratios. So this is the cross variogram of the indicator 5 to 10 above the simple variogram of the indicator 5. And this represents the probability of going from the indicator 5 to the indicator 10. And when this probability is dependent on the grade, on the distance, it means that there is border effect. Then we are in the diffusive setup. But when so this is when the variogram has this shape. But when we increase the grade, the variogram ratio starts to be more flat. And this is where there is no more border effect. So it can help define the structure of the grade. And then when we have defined the ZE, the top cut value, we can do cross variogram of the truncated grade and the indicator, and the variogram model for the residual. And we basically use this variogram ratio to do the co-kriging of the truncated variable and the indicator. So I've applied it on a few case studies on gold and uranium. And when I compared on a global scale, the cross-validation of both models shows generally very similar results. Basically, the low grades, medium grades are easy to re-estimate, but there's a bad re-estimation of point with a high grade. So it's hard to decide which of the capping of top cut are the best. On a global point of view, again, if we make the average between a block model estimated with a traditional capping and top cut, in different case studies, there is no more than 1 to 2% difference. On an intermediary scale, on one case study, I compared on year's production volume, and the difference is less than 10%. If we look more locally, we will see where this model can become interesting. Here on the top, we have the co-kriged grade in the top cut model. And on the bottom, we have the ordinary kriging of the cap grade. So here, you can see there's a big difference between the top cut grade 4 and the capping grade 26. And you can see this is the superposition of the truncated varia being interpolated and the very high grade. And the OK of the cap grade shows that there are less blocks with high grades, but they contain very, very high grades. For example, here and here. The same low range is applied for all categories of grades. When you remember, when we saw the variogram used for the capping, for example, this one, the range is very low. In the case of the top cut model, the range used for most of the grades is this diagram. So the low and medium grade will have a higher distribution in space, whereas the high grade will only be located where they are. They are more contained. This is another example of a gold deposit. And here we can see the decomposition of the Topcut model. So here it is the indicator. So this is where the high grades are supposed to be. This is the truncated variable. And the result is the sum of both here. And when we compare with the ordinary kriging of grade, we can see a bit the same result as for the other deposit. And if we... So I'm not saying one is better than the other, but it's interesting to see the difference locally. And the advantage of the Topcut model is that it reproduces better the distribution of what we see in the variography of the low and medium grade, which is the bulk of the deposit. In terms of very high blocks, on one case studies, I looked at exploitation blocks of 200 tons, and I looked at the max grade we can encounter in this deposit, and it was 13. And the long-term modern blocks were approximately 800 tons. And for the capping model, the max grade was 16, and the max grade of the Topcut model was 10. And as the tonnage of the exploitation blocks is 200, if you average again to the max grade, to pass from 200 to 800, the max grade must be even lower than 13 when you do the change of support. So in this case, we see that the Topcut model will constrain more the high grades, and they will be closer to the reality of the exploitation, the grade we can encounter. So in conclusion, the Topcut model is quite easy to put into place. It can be done in any software which allows calculation of cross-variogram and co-kriging. It's a bit more complex than capping, but it's less heavy than MIK that needs a multivariate model. It can be more accurate locally for high-grade block. It will constrain more the grade of the high-grade blocks and sometimes be more close to the exploitation blocks. And all this border effect study gives a better understanding of the spatial distribution of the grade. And this distribution is better represented in the block model. So if we do both type of model, capping and Topcut model, and do it as a sensitivity analysis, we don't have to especially use it as the resulting model, but it can be used also just to validate the capping grade, and it will. Doing all this study will increase the confidence in the choice of the model. And it will need to be reconciled to be validated. I have managed in the different case study to reconcile at global, intermediary scale. What I would like to do is to really try to reconcile on a more local scale with production, on a more block-to-block reconciliation. Voilà. Thank you.
Okay, our next talk is